On this week's episode of Convincing Idiots, we get into idiot reviews, pop culture headlines, including the passing of the great Olivia Newton-John. Batgirl gets dropped by DC and DC's crazy scheduling and plan. And our main segment tonight, movie and fictional villains, our favorite villains of all time. Does Dean make our list?
All right. Test.
Test.
You call it again? Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the Statman, not just anyone's opinion, the Statman Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Awesome.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
My name is Nicholas, and I'm a millennial, as they call me. And if this is the first time that you have joined us, hello, welcome. We are Convincing Idiots. We are a group of three friends who get together weekly on this podcast to talk about whatever kinds of things and topics our friendship brings about. Typically, it's pop culture related. Some might call it nerd culture related. We do dabble in nerd culture as well. If you have not done so already,
Making
please
love.
go find us on all of your favorite social media accounts. You can find links to all of those on where else but a tree of links. So Google Convincing Idiots Linktree, LANKTREE, and there you will find all of the links for our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Our email address is on there, as well as platforms in which you can listen to this very show on whichever platform that you prefer. You can also find that information on our website, and that is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. You can also click around on there. You can read our bios and learn a little bit about us and learn things about maybe you didn't know.
Nick doesn't know how to pronounce the word about.
Why don't I know how to say about?
You said a boat.
It's about. You can also
A boat is what you
can
take in the water, and
you can also
you go
learn
fishing.
about how to give us money. There's ways that you can help the show on there as well. So please don't be shy and stop on over and give us a little bit of your time. And if you've joined us before, we do appreciate that. We thank you for returning. Your judgment is questionable, but all the same, we appreciate it, and you're our kind of people. Last we spoke was last Thursday. We were on Facebook Live.
Yep.
It was our 100th-ish episode, and we talked about all kinds of things. I don't even remember what we talked about. Our memories of 100
It was
episodes
movie death.
past.
It was like TV movie deaths.
TV and movie deaths, things like that. Just kind of whatever came to us.
I just remember the moonshine. That's
I
the
was gonna
only
say
thing I
that-
remember from
That
that
could
night.
have something to do with why I don't totally remember all the things that we
Mhm.
talked about, but it was a good time. It was a good time nonetheless. And thank you, Dean, for having us to his in-home studio. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So what have you in the in-home studio been up to since we last spoke?
Well, I had to disinfect the motherfucker. After a few hours of that, I dirtied it up by masturbating all about it, and then after that, I disinfected it again. And then you came over. Anyways, let's just keep going on.
Well, you're showing growth as a
I-
person because you typically don't disinfect after the first
Actually, that's
masturbation.
what
so
happened. Actually, but in order to masturbate, the growth has to happen.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's a never-ending cycle. No, I don't think I've really done much of anything. I just worked and I lived and I loved and I learned. Yeah, no, I have done nothing this week besides
no
work
laughter in
and-
there, eh? You didn't laugh at all. You lived. You
just
loved,
now. This is the first
You
time.
learned. No laughter had.
That's right. No.
Hard lessons learned.
What's the VG on your hat stand for? Did you shorten up vagina?
It's Violent Gentleman. It is a hockey lifestyle clothing brand that I'm fond of. So yes, VG.
You're neither of those two.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just a fan. I'm a fan of those things.
All right.
Just a
enough.
looker on of sorts, if you will.
Sure.
Appreciate the craft.
An
I
observer.
appreciate the craft of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sure. So yeah. Honestly, I've got nothing. So, Brian, what have you been doing this past since we last talked?
Well, Dean clearly forgot, Nick, that he was over on Saturday, him and Megan, for a nice back.
Well, actually, I can blame that on the tequila that you had out there. So, given that I fell asleep watching the movie in your backyard, we can blame that on
Okay,
tequila.
so
You're right.
You lasted a while, though. It was a lot of fun.
Brian, that's our
Yeah.
cue.
We-
1, 2,
triple
3.
feature.
Surprise intervention. He doesn't remember the last episode. He doesn't remember what he did this weekend, both due to alcohol. So it's time to have this talk. We're here.
Yeah.
We're finally here.
That's right.
That motherfucker
right.
should have happened years ago.
No, we had a few people over Saturday, had a nice backyard movie. So we watched Caddyshack, which I like to watch at least every summer. And then we watched They Live, the classic Roddy Piper sci-fi movie from the late 80s. A lot of fun.
That was a lot. That was cool. I hadn't seen that since I was a kid. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Good evening, a lot of fun hanging out. That was great. And then
Brian comes out and goes,
yes.
Would you guys like some highballs? I was expecting his pants to drop. Instead, he brings out a glass like this big, full of like whiskey, and then expects me to remember that I was there.
Well, if your balls are going to hang high in a glass and you're Brian, it'd have to be a pretty long glass.
He
That's
is
right.
old, so
That's
that's
right.
way down there.
That's right. Yeah, so that was fun. And then tomorrow, I'm getting ready for nice little getaway. Allie, my girlfriend, and I, and my daughter Peyton, her boyfriend, are going over to.
Say his name.
Yep.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey. It's a nice,
I like
great guy.
Joey. I'm a president of the Joey fan
he's
club.
a nice-
I've met him 2 times.
He
He
is.
was lovely both times. Big fan.
Yes, very nice guy.
Joey, you better keep your goddamn hands to yourself. That's all
Yep.
I'm saying.
We're heading over by Conneaut, Ohio, which is Conneaut, Ashtabula, and Geneva on the Lake area. So about an hour and a half from us here in the Barberton, Ohio area. So a nice extended weekend, a lot of fun. Weather's supposed to be beautiful. Wineries, breweries, kayaking, beach, that type of stuff up there. So it'll be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that.
Nice.
And I'll mention too, Nick. Sorry, I don't know if we've added a couple new platforms lately. I know you
With
mentioned
iHeartRadio?
iHeartRadio
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
It already takes 45 minutes for him to get through that intro.
It's because you're fucking
No, it's
here
okay.
and you keep nitpicking at the way I say about and about. And it would be a lot quicker if I could say what I need to say. We can move on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we added iHeartRadio, and then over the past week since we shot last, we are now on Amazon Music. So it's possible somebody may have stumbled across us on one of those new platforms.
Welcome.
So yeah, if you have, like you say, welcome, and give us a like Nick say, follow or subscribe wherever you listen to us.
The
So
bickering is normal.
welcome
It's not because
iHeartRadio
you're
and
here.
Amazon Music. That's right.
Part of the
That's
shtick.
right. Yep. So Nick, how are you as you take a drink?
I am. I'm good.
Nobody cares.
I'm
Nick.
hydrated now. I'm well. No, I had a good little weekend. Friday we went to the Rogues Hollow Festival in Doylestown. So
Oh,
they
yeah.
had a parade
That
on
looked fun.
Friday and stuff like that. Nice little parade. I mean, just local businesses, things like that, throwing out the candy and beer tent, food vendors.
Rogues Hollow. Is it like just a bunch of tractors going down the street?
There
What's
was
on a parade at
there
Rogues
was
Hollow? Horses?
Yeah, there was
Was I on a horse?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me what was in there? Because every time there was a lot of businesses and things. It was very similar to a typical parade in which you would see in your local area.
I recall
In
going
mine,
out
I
there
live in the same
high
local
school.
area as you.
Is Crybaby Bridge still a thing out there?
I believe it is. Yes.
It
Yeah, I
is.
believe it is.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah,
on my personal YouTube page, I took a trip out there with Carter, and him and I visited it.
Okay. Did you hear anything?
No, it was during the day, so I guess
Oh, okay.
didn't
The
really
babies
get
don't
the whole
cry out there
experience.
in the daytime.
Well, he was like 7 when we went out there, so we wasn't gonna go out at night and do ghost hunting at night.
Yeah, it's like an urban legend around the Northeast Ohio area. He apparently hears some baby crying that was allegedly killed or died in an accident out by this small bridge in Rogues Hollow, Ohio. So
Actually,
used to go out there every so often.
Almost every state has the same
Probably.
thing.
It was a place to go to drink beer and or make out in the day. So there you
Nice.
go.
I would do both.
Sure. I probably did once back in my time.
Drink beer, make out, and
No.
chuck a baby somewhere. I mean, that's a.
That's
No,
right.
I would make
That's
out
right.
with the beer because I would have
Oh,
girls
I
to
see.
make out.
Yes.
with.
Oh,
I would
there you go.
Yeah.
French
There you
kiss
go.
the beer.
Sure.
Yep.
Speaking of,
Yeah, but no, it was a good time. Met my mom and my aunt out there, and my aunt Becky who was listening and interacting on our.
how's she doing?
She's doing well. She's doing well. Yeah.
All right.
Both my aunts were out. Everybody that was listening the night prior on a live episode was all there. So we had the whole fan club
What
there.
did they say about me?
Actually, it's weird you weren't mentioned, but Brian drew a lot of attention. Actually,
But
a lot of the women had positive reviews of Brian. They thought that he was very measured, waited his turn to speak, and was a very good conductor of the flow of conversation. So there's interesting feedback there.
fine. You know what? This button comes out. You're getting another
Uh-oh.
button. There you go.
Gauntlets down now.
You asked for it. You asked
Yeah.
for it.
That extra button takes you from 40 to 45, and then 50's down to the top of the belly, and so on you go.
There you go.
It's like Brian's nuts in a highball class.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, it was a good Friday night. Saturday, friend of the show, Aaron Blake from our friends at
Oh.
Blake Insurance Agency. The Blakes got themselves a new crib, so we went over and saw that and hung out with them for a while. So that was a nice little Saturday hang. So good time spending with them. And then
I saw him the other
did you?
day.
Yep. And
Yeah, at the soccer field.
oh, okay, yeah.
Girls were playing soccer. Our kids were on the
I'll
bike.
say, what the hell were you doing
on
at
the
soccer
path.
field? Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids were on the bike.
Okay.
We were walking around that, and before I can get to mine, luckily they were there, so I had to cut through to go, talk
Sure.
to him. So I didn't have to do the whole mile. So
Oh, you guys are just getting here. Oh, I'm already here. Yeah, and then Sunday we went and swimming at my uncle Scott's house. He was also present for the live episode last week too for a little bit. So it's a good time hanging out there, drinking.
did he at least say anything about me?
He just asked that you were still there, huh? He goes, he's still part of that, and I was like, yep. He's family kind of to me. So yes, but yeah, no, you were definitely brought up. And then so yeah, it was good. We had
You're a
I
mean
had
boy. You're a mean boy.
sushi, and then there's Lane. Lane is here.
Hello,
Waving
Lane.
to the people for the people on video. But we had some sushi and beer by the pool, so that was a good little Sunday, and that was
Man, I need to get some
about
sushi.
it for the weekend. Oh, and then
Mhm, yeah,
tonight,
sounds
well, we
good.
just okay, sir, excuse me, thank you. We went to Scoops tonight. My uncle came into town, brought his nice sports car into town, and we went to Scoops and had some ice cream and milkshakes and stuff.
In
So
the car?
no, we drove the car to
Oh,
Scoops.
okay.
Is not to be consumed.
No, that's what I'm saying. But no, I didn't ask that. Did you drive in the car?
Did we drive? I did not drive the car. Yes, I rode in the
Okay.
car. Yes.
Well, yeah, nobody's gonna let you drive a nice
No,
car.
well, I drove it one time, like a couple blocks up the street.
Did he know?
He did, I think.
Okay.
He was at his house. I mean, it was fine.
Passed
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah,
he was
yeah.
there.
So, but yes, it was pretty good, pretty good. So what is up with you guys?
Is it some, can I say something?
I think we just covered
Oh, I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry. I have somebody
Yeah, I
in
think
my
we-
ear. I'm like losing
I
track
know,
of what I'm
I know.
doing here.
I know.
But
That's all right. That's all right.
With everything that we've done, guys, I would like to take this part and thank you guys again for last week for coming over
Yes.
and doing the live thing. I think we have a different dynamic, in person than we do live. I don't know if the camera caught. I don't know if the camera picks that up. From doing the Zoom to a live experience. And I am gonna try to put together again another live event at Ignite Brewery in downtown Barberton.
Yes.
That way, the
Yes.
three of us can be, together again, holding hands and doing this again. So, but
Yes.
again,
Great.
thank you guys. That was fun last week.
Yes, it was. It was a good time. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
You can come over to my house anytime.
And once again, in typical Brian fashion, thank you for doing all the legwork and bringing lights and cameras and setting up and so.
And what the audience doesn't realize is that when he means legwork, he carried Nick on his shoulders like a toddler,
right.
through an amusement park. That's how Nick and Brian came.
Well, once I got to the driveway
Yep.
and pulled in, I was tired. I mean, getting in the house was not going to be easy.
Mm-mm.
Just pick Nick up by the belt.
By the
carry him right
scruff
in the
of the neck.
Yep.
You picked him up with your
Yeah.
mouth.
You got
It's like a
me
12-pack.
under
Like a cat eating
me
mouse.
under one arm and your cardboard cutout of Einstein to balance you out under the other arm. So
That's right.
Both weighed the exact same.
Right. balance, level you out.
All right, guys. Well, since have you seen anything interesting to mention on some idiot reviews? Nick, you said you saw a movie recently.
I did. I saw. What did we watch Saturday night? Earlier in the evening we watched a newer Netflix animated kids movie called The Sea Beast. It was, it's a computer animated movie. It was actually really good. It was, not like earth-shattering, legendary movie, but it was pretty good. It was almost like I kind of caught me as it was aimed towards. Maybe like it was for younger kids too, but like aimed at a little bit of an older crowd.
What did the kids think?
The kids liked it a lot. Yeah, the kids liked it a lot. They
Okay.
were talking about it all the next day, and everything. So, but it was very interesting. If you got kids, it's a fun little. I mean, it's exactly what you think. It's like basically, pirates, smugglers on the sea. They're chasing after this sea beast, and there's a child involved, and they are trying to essentially. The moral of the story is to bridge the gap between, the misunderstanding of the beasts and the people hunting them and all that stuff. But it was a good movie, good, solid family movie. So I would recommend.
Mhm.
I saw the previews for that, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, you know what? That probably wouldn't be one I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
The kids are around watching that, and then Carter came over and he's like, "Hey, I watched this movie called Sea Beast. About half of it, I didn't like it, so I turned it
Oh,
off."
well, there you go.
So that was my only review of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, but yeah, we liked it. And then after that, I watched a movie called Landline. I thought it was newer. If you guys are familiar with Jenny Slate, she was on Saturday Night Live for a brief period. She's been in a bunch of things. She was actually in Venom and Venom 2. She was the scientist in there, but whatever. She's been in a few things.
Parks and Rec.
Was she in Parks and Rec too?
Yeah, she was. What's his name's sister? The comedian you
Aziz
like.
Ansari?
His friend, the Aziz's friend in the show.
Oh,
They did the partying together.
yes, yeah.
Rafi or something like that. But it's his sister.
Okay.
He plays her sister.
Okay.
Or his sister
Okay.
in the show.
Yeah, but it was a movie of hers that I thought it was newer. It was on HBO Max, but it's called Landline. It was apparently from 2017, but it was good. It was kind of like a little indie movie. It was centered around her and her younger sister, who was in high school at the time, and she's a young adult and in the city and stuff like that. Just kind of navigating, I guess, the way it's transitioning from childhood into adulthood, and the way that their relationships and the way that they see their parents has changed, and the way that they relate to each other changing and stuff like that. It was funny. It was dramedy, as you would say. Definitely funny, but definitely some serious issues and stuff like that. But really enjoyable. I
Like the show.
with like that. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, tackling the tough issues. We'll give you a couple laughs. but
Right.
Serious stuff.
Mainly, we're tugging at the heartstrings.
That's right. We're tugging at something on this show for sure.
I can't see your hands.
Nor will you. Brian, what have you seen?
I saw a couple decent movies.
Resumes
So
for other people for the podcast.
that's right. That's right. Can you breathe and can you let people talk? No. Yeah.
Do you know how to speak, but also know when to restrain?
Last weekend I saw Prey. So that we talked about that movie on Hulu.
I meant to talk to you about that.
Yeah, it's a Predator movie set 300 years ago with the Navajo Nation? Comanche Nation, excuse me. The star is Amber Midthunder, who plays a warrior Nairu, basically trying to earn some type of tribal honor where you have to kill a creature that is hunting you. That's kind of the tribal thing. If they kill something in the wild that's hunting them, obviously usually it's a bear or a mountain lion or something like that. But a predator lands in that area and it starts hunting animals and the Native Americans, and they have to go out and try to stop them. So very interesting concept. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I watched the original Predator a couple months ago, something like that here, but it was on par. I mean, the original is still super terrific with Arnold and everybody, but this is very, very good. I really enjoyed this movie. So if you are a Predator fan, check this out for sure. And you know what? It doesn't need to tie to anything else. It's the same alien race.
And it's 300 years ago.
That's right. And as we talked before too, I hope that they continue to make more of these type of movies and just simply take an alien or take a Predator and drop it in another timeline.
Yeah,
you could do anything with it. You can put it in a Civil War or whatever, and it's just still. So very, very good movie. Extremely well shot, well acted. Effects were great. Takes you back to the original one. So highly recommended. Prey exclusively on Hulu right now. And then last evening I finished up on Netflix now Uncharted. So I didn't realize it was based on a video game, but it is based on a video game. Yeah.
Tom Holland
and Mark Wahlberg. So they are like treasure hunters. A very entertaining movie. It's fun to see Tom Holland in something other than Spider-Man. He still has that athleticism and everything else, but it's an interesting story. He played very well with Mark Wahlberg, and a lot of twists and turns and surprises. I won't spoil anything here, but a lot of fun, very entertaining, and they definitely set it up for potential sequels if they choose to do that. But it's a complete movie. Beginning to end, this storyline is complete in this movie. Great movie, a lot of fun.
I'm glad it's not a half a movie.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes they may set these up for a sequel to tell the rest of the story. Yeah, but it's entertaining. So if it's a couple-hour movie. A lot of fun. Go check that out on Netflix. So
Can I give a spoiler for it? At one point,
Uncharted?
At one point, Mark Wahlberg goes, "Huh?" and gives a fucking stupid, far-out look of confusion.
Probably happen.
Yeah. Well, in every movie. Huh?
Sure. Probably happen. Yep.
What? That's my impression of Mark Wahlberg. Well, next time you watch Mark Wahlberg movie, he has
I feel like probably in Transformers.
Every one of them. Like somebody just farted next to him.
In Fear?
Yep.
Does he?
Well, it depends. It depends on what the scene calls for. But it's the same stupid look.
Yep.
And no matter what genre or emotion that he's, your dog just died. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he did. He pulled out a fake penis as well, which is very, very strange for this movie. Very strange. It just didn't seem to fit too well.
Well, it was Uncharted.
Yeah.
It was Uncharted.
Yep.
It'll do the same.
Right. And I started to watch, Nick, the season 2 of Only Murders in the Building. I'm on like 3 episodes or 4 episodes. Great second season. Yeah, great second season. Well, reminding you right now. Great second season. Go check that out.
The most recent update is the second to last in the season, I believe, and pretty big breakthrough. Pretty big breakthrough.
So recommended as well. Yep, that's it. Dean, did you go yet? Did you mention anything?
Yeah, well, it's pretty much 2 things that I've been watching. We have been hammering through Ozark.
I've heard of that show. I've actually heard of that one.
I know. It's delightful. We have 3 episodes left. Jason Bateman.
Yeah, that's. Oh, not that one.
We had 3 episodes left, and I'm very excited. It's so good. It's actually somebody on there might be on my list later in the episode here. Stay tuned till after the break to find out. But we're 3 episodes left on that, and then they just came back for the second half of the season for Resident Alien. If you guys aren't watching it, really, it is like a mixture of Twin Peaks, or not Twin Peaks, Northern Exposure, Scrubs, and like a goofy X-Files. It's funny. It's good. At some point, they're doing a bit, and you just go, "This is so dumb," but you're laughing, and you go, "But I love it." It's super fun. You can't take it seriously. It's Alan Tudyk, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Tudyk is how you pronounce it. As the resident alien, alien with a human body or whatnot. But he's a town doctor, and shenanigans ensue. But yeah, a lot of fun. I highly recommend that one.
Okay. Yeah, I've not seen it yet. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, Brian, you'll really like it. Nick, I don't think you watch TV, so I'm not sure you'd enjoy it.
That's all I watch is TV.
It doesn't have hockey on it. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, why don't we take a short break here, and we're going to come back and talk about a couple pop culture headlines, couple of significant things happening in the world of pop culture, and then, as Dean already mentioned, our main segment this evening coming up is villains. So some of our favorite all-time villains, could be TV, movie, comic book, whatever. Just our favorite villains. Dean may or may not make my list. We'll see. Okay.
Hey, Megan, it was Brian who made the joke. So,
oh, she said one of us is going to say it?
No, I asked which one do you think is going to say it first, and
okay.
She wasn't sure, so you win.
That's right.
No, but stay tuned. We're going to go on and see who our favorite villains are. Unfortunately, make your own list during the break. But I want to guarantee you that who is not going to be on that list is Aaron Blake.
Oh, that's right.
Blake Insurance, because Aaron Blake is a hero, not a villain. Heroes give you insurance and give you peace of mind and comfort for your life and family. Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359. What? I'll say it again. 234-571-5359, or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free. That's right. You love it. I love it. We all need it. Free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, make sure you tell them these idiots, these 3 villains sent you. And he'll give you a great deal, a great quote, and probably banish us because, he's the hero and we're the villains. So
if nothing else, call him to make us go away.
That's right. That's right.
If you get a free 5-minute quote out of it, great.
Look at that. Yep. You win. That's a win-win for everybody.
That's right. Okay. We'll be right back with pop culture headlines.
The fun is back. Oh, yes, siree. It's the 2600 from Atari. It's the video system with classics galore, from Space Invaders to cars that roar. A real hip joystick controls the screen. Solaris is hot and Midnight Magic's mean. And one more thing, it's got a special low price, under $50. $50? Now, isn't that nice? The fun is back. Oh, yes, siree. It's the 2600 from Atari.
Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. Oh, there you go. Little baby Godzilla. Yeah, on the video. Yeah.
Nope, I just unzipped my pants.
That's
baby Godzilla.
Yeah. That is odd.
It's got teeth. It's weird.
That's what Dean calls it, Nick. Unfortunately,
Baby
what
Godzilla.
What Megan was saying. Yeah.
Son of Godzilla.
Only because
Yeah.
it also breathes fire. I should get some pills for that or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, you are the one that I want.
Aw.
Yes.
Well,
that's
you know
right.
what, Brian? You're the one that I need.
Ooh.
That's right. That's right.
Darling.
And who else sang that song was
John Travolta.
Bobby Darin.
John Travolta did sing part of that song, absolutely. And his co-singer of that particular song was the late great Olivia Newton-John. She passed away this past weekend at the age of 73. They did not cite exactly the cause of death, but
Breast cancer.
She had made it. She was battling breast cancer for a long time. So, yeah, poor lady. So I don't know. She in my generation certainly. Dean, I'm sure to some extent as well.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid in the late 70s, I mean, the movie Grease was just absolutely huge back in 1978. I mean,
as a kid, seeing her in those black leather pants at the end of that movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. But she was just a beautiful woman, had a great singing voice.
I feel it happening again.
There you go. Baby Godzilla again. There you go. You have to watch the video to see what that is. If it's actually a Baby Godzilla or something else, go check that out.
I'm sure she's up in heaven smiling down on this podcast now.
Yeah, they're making a Godzilla penis joke in
my memory.
My segment.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Thanks a lot, guys. No, but I as a pop singer, I always enjoyed her voice and a lot of her songs.
You were a pop singer?
So. Yes, that's right. That's
we
right.
really don't know much about you, Brian. I really want to know more.
I say, Dean, you really need to stop interrupting him. I want to know more about Brian.
I apologize. We're going to find out all sorts of things. Brian, tell us more. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Very good.
Do you want some new hosts?
That's it. That's it. So
you're done.
Nick,
get out.
Nick, you'd probably know who she is. I don't know if you're much of a fan. Are you Olivia Newton-John fan?
He's singing the song.
I would say. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
singing along.
No, I don't. I would qualify myself as a fan. I mean, I'm obviously who's not familiar with Grease. I feel like that's one of those movies that I don't know if it's, but I feel like everyone has seen Grease. Is that fair to say? Like that's a movie across the board. Everyone has seen Grease. So yeah, I mean, definitely
that and Jingle All the
always
Way.
great in that role. Absolutely. I mean, cinematic classics, timeless masterpieces.
Of course.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, as far as like her body of work and other films that she was in, I don't know that I've seen a great many of them, but certainly definitely familiar with who she is and what she did. And it's sad to hear of her passing, but like many of these people that we discuss that pass on are so legendary, will not soon be forgotten and leave a big mark on really a pop culture across the board. So,
yeah, she's one of the known as one of the worst movies of all time, Xanadu. This very strange movie with her and Gene Kelly was in this movie.
I've heard of Xanadu. I think
I've
my
never
mom
actually
brought
seen
that
it.
up before.
I've heard about
the
it.
song. So the best thing about that movie was her songs, and it actually ELO had a couple songs in it as well. But the soundtrack was good. The movie was strange and terrible, but she was so good it made a bad movie decent. How about that? So
did they put those quotes on the back of the VHS tape? Brian Fisher of Convincing Idiots says it was strange and terrible.
Of pop star fame.
Of pop star fame. Local
right.
pop star Brian Fisher. Worldwide pop star.
We can only hope to get such a rating on this particular podcast. Sure. Absolutely.
Would you say strange? I would take strange and terrible. Because
strange and terrible.
Strange can be
that really describes this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. Dean, were you Olivia Newton-John fan, sir? I mean, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grease. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Grease is a lot like Star Wars in the vein of that I don't remember like first seeing it. It's just always been there.
I thought you were going to say the person in the black leather suit gave you a boner, but.
Oh, yeah.
Grease and Star Wars.
I mean, you put a Kaneki and a Chewbacca in front of me, I'm fucking both.
Yeah, Grease made my list as far as we had a couple. It was Dean and I did a weird or worst movie endings of all time, and Grease made my list because it's such a strange ending of that movie where
Because she was dead.
well, she's so wholesome throughout the entire movie, and the bad boy John Travolta chasing her. And what does she do? She changes completely around to get the bad boy wearing the tight pants and everything, and like you say, they get in the car
pants.
and leather pants, and then the car flies up in the sky, and nobody.
Because she died. She went to heaven.
That's what you said. That was the theory.
She died on the beach. He died on the beach, like in the song says. He didn't. The guy that tried to save her, in her mind, she went about what it would be like if she lived and went to see him at his school.
Okay.
And the ending was her actually passing, like she's probably in a coma or something, and her flying up to heaven in the car, and she died.
Is this a legit thing or is this a theory?
No, that's a theory.
Okay. I'm like, did I fucking
look
miss this? Like, all ever
look it up. Look it up. I just gave you the very brief synopsis of it, but it fits.
Sure, that's what's I'm like, it's breaking my brain right now. I'm like, is this always what Grease was? And I didn't fucking pick up on that.
The idea is that she died and she drowned, and the lifeguard or whatever trying to save her, in her mind, in her comatose mind, she pictured him at high school and her going to see him. You know what I mean? She lived
interesting, and
then at the end, her going up to heaven is her when she actually passes on. In her mind.
That's fucking weird.
Yep.
Blew your mind, didn't I?
Did.
Come here and repay the favor. Go ahead, Brian.
For more details there and for other weird bad movie endings, go back and listen to our episode a couple episodes ago with Dean and I when Nick was out of town. So, yeah.
Go further back there and listen to Nick's racist rants.
That's right. Somewhere
anti-Semitics or he badmouthed Wookiees. I don't know.
Somewhere there.
He's so mean.
Just don't get PETA involved.
Between episode 3 and 100, somewhere in there. Go back and listen.
You say don't get your pee involved?
PETA. I said don't get PETA involved.
I was gonna say I will pee on you all day. So rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John.
Yes, absolutely.
What?
That was
sincere.
Who hired this guy to do the eulogy? Jesus Christ! What the hell happened? Yeah. It's like the fan theories. You flip in the sky, and it's just. So anyway, rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John.
Sir. So, if I may, I would piss on you.
You guys got any food, around here? Your food or drinks around here?
Anyway, R.I.P. O.N.J. Dino out. Mic drop.
Ay. All right. Well, Olivia Newton-John was certainly an end of one era, and we had the end of another era, gentlemen, that just saddens the entire pop culture world. A match that appeared made in heaven over the past 9 months has come to an end. Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian have broken up. It seems that I know. It seems that she broke up with him for distance, and what I read that she just frankly, just wants to be single, and she was getting too serious with him, and just a little bit too much too soon, blah, 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 blah.
I learned this via Kanye's Instagram, the R.I.P.
Oh, we're still talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P. Skeet.
Yeah. And poor man is apparently in some type of therapy, in part because of all the, harsh social media from, I don't know. So,
I heard it was amicable, that they were, it's just their lives were like, she was out on the West Coast a lot, and he's obviously in New York a lot, and even though they gotten close, it was they thought it wasn't going to work out from there and all that stuff. So it's okay. It's just the next phase and getting the family back together again. So we're gonna get Kanye back in the fold. The first family of pop culture will be back together soon enough. Don't worry,
boy.
It's all God's plan.
We all still have a chance here, guys.
That's right.
There's still a chance. Okay, and this I thought was interesting as well. We talked about this a little bit off camera, but the Warner Brothers was making a Batgirl movie It's actually also starring Michael Keaton as Batman, which I didn't realize he was in this movie as well.
He was in it. I think it was supposed to have tied to like the Ezra Miller,
The Flash.
which that's another horseshit deal that you guys could talk about. But what's going on with him? There's now a family that he was living with, as I'm missing.
Is there? Whoa.
Yeah. It was an article. I don't care that much to actually click on it and to read the thing. That was the headline. It could be like he plays with Barbies and the goddamn thing's missing now. For all I know, I'm just saying. I read that headline. He seems like a weird dude. But my understanding was that it ties together because Michael Keaton was also, because that new Flash movie is going to have like multiverse type situation.
Yeah, the Flashpoint type deal. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was going to like tie into that somehow, some way. My understanding. I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, it was a $90 million budget, and Warner Brothers just merged with somebody. I should know that, but they merged with some new group.
Who is it? I'm sorry.
I don't.
Warner
Brothers
the first
merged?
Is it Sony?
Somebody.
I believe. Isn't it?
I don't know. Let's see here.
Only a tiny computer that tells us everything.
It was not testing well.
Yeah, I think it's Sony and is merging with them.
Okay.
Like Universal Sony merger, I believe.
Let's look it up.
So Nick, what do you think? Go ahead. By all means.
I was gonna
Discovery.
This is the interrupting show right here.
Yeah.
I was trying to banter. I had nothing for it, so I was going to have you do it.
I was going to dig into the Ezra Miller stuff a little bit.
It's a Discovery. It merged with Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So, anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say about Ezra Miller, like, it's a little bit, it kind of disappoints me. Obviously, like, I like his portrayal of the character. I like him as an actor. The other things I've seen him in, I really like him. And it makes me sad to hear him in all these, like, wild-ass fucking situations that he puts himself in, like being drunk at a bar in Hawaii and, like, taking the phone from someone singing karaoke and then hitting a man with the microphone and all this other shit. Like, it's just, I'm like, why? Yeah. Like, why?
You described Brian's Saturday night a couple weeks ago.
That's weird. Right. That's right. Yeah, I think he has mental issues. If he has mental issues, hopefully he takes care of himself. Yeah. And, but it's, outside looking in, it's like a guy throwing away a pretty big opportunity, it seems like, with playing the Flash. So, you know what? Fuck him. Bring the dude in that's playing the Flash on the TV. He's great anyways in that role. So it's a weird thing anyways for me to have a good actor doing playing the Flash very well on television. Why don't they have the same guy play him on the big screen? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me anyway. So bring him in. But anyway, so Batgirl, it didn't test well. They say, and instead of putting it out there even on streaming, they can it because they say it doesn't fit their vision or something along that line. So
do you think it might have to do with them having to readjust the Ezra Miller thing? Because like they can't run with this kid, you know what I mean, with all the shit he's going through. They can't. I mean, Flashpoint's already done, right? They've already filmed it. They're just cleaning up. Do they take this opportunity and with the multiverse thing switch the Flash? And this is what they're doing. They're like, okay, the ending isn't going to make sense of the Flashpoint because we're switching over to this kid, like he said, from the CW, will be like the Flash, and it won't make sense with this background. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's an interesting theory.
Like I said, they keep saying it didn't test well, and then you get other people saying, well, because of the actress playing Batgirl, that she's very good, but isn't she a woman of color?
Yeah,
plays Batgirl. So. And then
why would that matter?
That shouldn't matter
because people care about black stormtroopers. It shouldn't, but it does for people. I don't know why. People are dumb.
And there's an openly transgender character in the movie as well. Again, doesn't matter, shouldn't matter. But this is what people talk about. It's like, are they canning it because of their intolerance, or did it really not test well? And some people are saying, basically, in so many words, DC has put out some real shit over the years. Green Lantern, the Suicide Squad, some real clunkers.
The first Suicide Squad.
The first Suicide Squad, not the last one. The last one was great. James Gunn, last one was terrific, as we all agree.
Amazing.
Yeah, the one with the Jared Leto Joker one is fucking terrible, awful, But
Send it in the ocean, drown it forever.
that's what some people say. You put out these clunkers, why not? You put all this money into Batgirl. What's stopping you now? But on the other side of it, maybe these new mergers coming in, maybe saying, yeah, you know what? That's part of our whole image and problem is because we keep putting out bad movies,
Sure.
and it's turning people off. So let's not put out yet another bad movie just because you guys spent money on it. Now we have to absorb that cost and not put another clunker out there. Maybe there's something good about that too.
I think we've said this before, guys. DC's problem is they don't have Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
they don't have one person.
Exactly.
They have like executives up there.
At all.
You need one vision guy.
Right.
One guy at the helm controlling it that answers to the bigwigs, but one guy, his vision.
That's right.
Until you get that, you're going to have movies that are all over the place and turn out to be horseshit. Some turn out to be good when you get good at directors like James Gunn. Other ones are going to be horseshit. I mean, granted, what was the last one? The Batman? I enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah, it's phenomenal.
But that doesn't fit. You're not going to put that with the Suicide Squad. It's not the same universe. You know what I mean?
That's probably that's the best
problem.
DC movie I've seen in this era of the Batman. Like it's
okay, but it's not going to fit with the rest of the stuff. You have all these characters. If you want to compete with Marvel, you have to get all these characters on the same page. That movie there, can't work with Peacemaker. You know what I mean? Not the same universe. There's no aliens in Robert Pattinson's Batman.
What I'd like to see them do
is,
let's not if I know, and we've said don't try to do Marvel because Marvel's got that mastered. Like, make it your own thing. Try to be funny with But I like the idea of you don't take it a step further. You don't have to be Marvel. You don't have to tie everybody in. There doesn't have to be a Justice League. Do Batman movies gritty and grimy and comic book style.
But you have
Suicide
so many
Squad
other
funny
characters
and gory and crazy. But make movies for them. But keep them do their own thing.
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
But in the comics, they all sooner or later mesh and with each other. They cross paths at certain points.
Sure, but you don't have to follow the comics to a T. You don't have to make them meet. You don't have to do what Marvel did with Avengers and all. It doesn't have. You know what I mean? Sure, it worked for them. It would be
better.
But
right?
I don't know.
I mean, better is subjective, right? Brian
I don't want to
better.
see.
Nick doesn't.
I don't want to see Robert Pattinson. I don't want to see the Batman that I saw with any other fucking superhero. I don't need that in my life. I don't need him with Superman. I don't need all that crazy stuff. Keep it the Batman, or this version at least of the Batman and Robert Pattinson, and that I loved it. I loved the whole vibe and the how gritty and grimy and just real it was.
But I mean,
let that be its own thing.
DC?
We don't have to marry that into something else.
Like you have Frank Miller's Batman. You have the original. What was his name? The creator of Batman.
Bob Kane.
Kane. Bob Kane. You have those two different versions of Batman. Could you just do those gritty character movies and then still make a Batman for this universe?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want to,
you know what I mean?
There's
this Robert, and then you take the Flashpoint type movies, and that's where occasionally you can blend them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, you could now that you're introducing the Flashpoint here, like you say, you can let Michael Keaton's Batman live on in that universe. Where he's an older man. It started in the '80s universe with the Jack Nicholson Joker, and that's where he's at. And he could carry on, and maybe he mentors. Some people say he could be the Batman Beyond type Bruce Wayne, where maybe he mentors a new Batman coming up or something like that. That'd be great. It's like how they're talking about it in Marvel with the Spider-Man now. You could now, in theory, now that you put it all out there, you could have another Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie in his universe, and it'd be great. It'd be terrific.
Yep, everybody would accept it now, not go.
Sure.
Why are you going to do that again? Now people are going to want it because what Andrew Garfield did in that one movie was
right.
He acted his ass off. I think all those three guys did. So
sure,
I'd watch any. I mean, Toby. I'm
sure.
Excuse me. I'm not going to lie. I've never seen Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. And the Tobey Maguire, I went back and rewatched it, and it's dog shit. So I wouldn't, but I'm now interested to see new movies with them in it.
Sure.
So it worked.
Sure.
Yeah, so just DC has to get it together. Did you guys see, by the way, that they're making it the Joker sequel? Have you seen this?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
And Lady Gaga's in it as well.
It's a musical.
Is she Harley Quinn? Hold on, wait,
No.
what?
I don't know.
Hold on, what? Oh, no.
It's a
No.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
It's a musical.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
Huh.
So this is the so again, that's where you need, like you said, somebody at the top to say, "Excuse me, what do you want to do with this? We want to make a sequel of the Joker. Get out of this office immediately.
I got it.
Hey, clean out your desk. Get out.
Hold on. I got it. Y'all. Yeah, listen. I got it. We're gonna do Ben-Hur. Yep. Oh yeah. No, that's not redoing it. The sequel, Ben-Hur porno. You with me? Where's the money? Let's do this.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Okay. All right. Well, we've talked about this topic long enough here, so just
shit gets wild on Leper Island.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. All right, well, guys. Well, speaking of the Joker is
Or maybe like
one of the
the speaking of like the Batmobile or a Bat Cycle, or we're gonna ride out of this segment and as fast as we possibly can.
That's right. Yep. Nick said, "Fuck that! I'm doing it on my own terms."
I guess.
Screw you. Yep.
We're like an hour and a half in. I thought it'd help.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
That's fine.
I respect you.
The Joker may or may not make our list of most famous villains here coming up after the break.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future. Odyssey easily attaches to any brand TV, black and white or color, to create a closed-circuit electronic playground. Odyssey gives you all the exciting action of hockey and 11 other challenging play and learning games for the entire family. Odyssey, a new dimension for your television, now at your Magnavox dealer. He's listed in the yellow pages.
One V, 3 lines, 2 lines, 1 line.
We are back on Convincing Idiots. We're having too much fun here this week. Too much damn fun.
Is it possible?
We are back, and I got to tell you guys, there's some mischief afoot on this show, both on screen, off screen, and out of screen. Okay, so
you mean like my nipple?
That's right. That's right. Mischief is afoot. We discuss a lot of pop culture here on the show. So that covers a lot of topics. We have villains across many platforms. We have comic books. We've experienced them in movies, television, many different variations of pop culture in which that we consume. So, gentlemen, do you know what is in fact... I mean, we're going to probably go over some of our... We've discussed going over some of our most dastardly villains of all time. And I don't want to jump the gun here, but I can't help but ignore what has to be the most horrible, awful villain of them all. And it would have to be the one that you have no control over. Fatigue. Right?
That's
right. When you
right.
run down... When you're tired, when your body is failing you, it's pushed to the absolute limits. You can't take any more. When you're like on a long walk and you're like, God,
Nick, that's like me.
Where would this hero be to save the day? Well, let me tell you, my friends, if you had an electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop, fatigue would be finito. No more.
Oh, boy.
All you would have to do, in theory, if fatigue were to rear its ugly head upon you to get your hands on your very own electric bike, all you would have to do is go to Facebook, type in that little search bar up at the top there, RPM Bike Shop. They are located in Carrollton, Ohio, locally here. You will see all their wonderful products that they have to offer you. Okay? You can also give them a call at 330-808-7792. They will hook you up with an electric bike. You can also visit their website. That's right, they're fancy boys, just like we are, with a website. All you have to do is go to rpmbikeshop.com today. Check out their lovely products. Go over there. Tell them that the boys from Convincing Idiots sent you their way and that you need a hero today. RPM Bike Shop. So now that we have the most awful and tedious villain of them all tackled, now we can get to some of the lower hanging fruit that that exist in pop culture as we know it. We're talking about
lower hanging fruit, like Brian's balls,
like Brian's low balls, high balls, low balls. Yes, that's right.
Okay, all right.
Brian's low ball highballs should be your specialty drink that you make at your house.
It really should.
Ah, there you go. I should rename
Brian's
couple cherries at the bottom.
Low ball highballs. Yes, absolutely. So let's
right, gentlemen.
start with Dean because he wants to. Let's
because I thought about this. I wanted to start this subject with a question.
Okay.
What makes, because obviously if you haven't, with this whole diatribe, if you haven't told, we're about to give our best villains, our favorite villains, whatnot of pop culture. But I want to present it to you two. What makes a good villain to
Untimely interruptions.
Fair enough. But is it the writing? Is it the acting? Is it what makes a good villain?
There's just so many factors with what makes a good villain. It definitely adds to the storyline. He's definitely the balance to the quote unquote good characters in the storyline. If he or she, if it's an exceptionally good performance, it gives me personal angst when that villain is on screen. It creates a lot of tension. Just makes you get a little uneasy and unnerved. You don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know. Those are just a couple of factors that it makes a good villain in my opinion. So
I think it varies, like Brian said. But what I would say is a lot of times if it's a story, it's more of the background, maybe the story. If they have a kind of I would call it a tortured soul element to where they have a really good story that makes them a good villain versus I think a lot of times on screen it can be in the delivery of the portrayal, as in, we talk a lot here about comic book movies and things like that. You see different variations of characters. Some I would hold in different regards than others based on the delivery of a character example. You know what I mean? So, like you said, Brian, combination of both, but I think for me, the format of the villain or the version of the villain that I have in my mind varies, whether it's a portrayal or whether we're talking about the character and his story or her story in general. You know what I mean?
Sometimes and oftentimes too, it's there's some type of, not all the time, but oftentimes some of the qualities, not qualities, but they're relatable in some respects. Not saying that you are a bad person or something like that, but like you say, there's some angst, and if you get a backstory of how that villain came to be, sometimes you can step back and say, yeah, I understand it, like Magneto type of thing. It's I understand his point of view and how he is seeing. I don't necessarily agree with it. Maybe sometimes we do sort of agree with some of the mindset of the villain, just how they go about. Well, that's a good one. You know what I'm saying? So
every villain is the hero in their own story. Every villain thinks that they are doing right or what needs to be done.
That's the point.
They think they are making the right decision in their mind. They're not a villain to them.
They're not a villain.
The person trying to stop them is getting in their way, but they're trying to do a greater good, or they're trying to do something that they believe is going to help a situation, or they're fixing a wrongdoing in society, or whatever.
There are some villains that are out there that don't abide by that. You know what I mean? That just are pure chaos, pure evil.
Yeah.
That don't have that, oh, I'm doing this because I think it's right. Some of them are just dicks.
Pieces of
right?
shit. Yeah.
Right.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
I get that. And those are the ones I relate to. All right.
Hi, I'm Dean, the sociopath.
And I just want to watch you fucking burn. Anyways.
I have a terror boner right now. Hashtag terror boner. Make it happen.
There you go.
Yep. All right. So, gentlemen, we talked about doing our list, doing the Mount Rushmore. You know, we bounced about a few different things. And Brian, you come up with the great idea of let's bounce off some of our favorite, each of our favorites bad guys. Give a little reasoning, and then at the end we can see if we can culminate and get our Mount Rushmore of bad guys.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go around the table. Everybody throw out a name. We'll go throw out a name. We'll talk about it if we have it. Agree. You know, we'll go around. Everybody will just take a few turns around and throw out some names till we don't have any more.
Hold on. I mean, instead of that, how about we each one of us go around and say our own bad guy, talk about it, explain why and whatnot, and then at the end we'll come up with a list.
Okay, so what I said in different words. Yeah, let's do that.
That's great. Is that what Dick said? I thought
I said it
precisely.
The reason I paused, I'm like, did they not understand that I just repeated what he said?
Yeah.
Did they not get it? All right, good. You guys got it.
Or we could do what I said the first time without hearing the shit that you said the same way but differently.
You guys are gonna be silent. I come off just like a dipshit, which makes sense.
Dean's stupid. Really stupid.
I don't think he's listening to them at all. He's just saying words.
Brian, you've seen more villains than anybody because you've lived on the earth way longer than anybody. So why don't you start?
Well, former President Trump. Now let's hear me out. No, I'm kidding.
Agree. Send him to the top of the mountain.
We all agree.
I'm joking. I'm not. Yeah.
I'm not joking.
All right, so this is in no particular order. So this one of the older villains in pop culture and movies that I've enjoyed as a kid growing up here. As you guys know, I'm a big James Bond fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go with Blofeld from the Bond movies. So Blofeld was he failed
to blow someone? That is a big villain move.
Nick has no clue what that's like.
Nope. He was the head of...
Why did he do it?
How do you fail at that? I succeed all the time.
He was the head of Spectre in many of all the Sean Connery movies. He was the main villain. So all the original '60s Bond movies, played by different actors.
Doesn't that just show how bad Sean Connery's James Bond was? That he was there all the movies and didn't catch him.
Well, there was a movie or two that it looked like he did kill him, but it turned out to be a decoy. Then he kept getting away. So. Yeah, he was a reoccurring villain from the late '60s through the '70s movies, and
I mean, if you can outsmart James Bond for 20 years,
yeah, well, that's true. That's true. So, anyway, just an interesting character. The head of
what was his name?
Spectre. Blofeld.
Blofeld. I'm sorry. I think there's something wrong with this speaker here.
In the Austin Powers movie. He was a caricature of Blofeld was the villain there, but anyway.
Who was the caricature? You said in the Austin Powers. Who was
it? Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil is.
Okay. Dr.
Evil. He's modeled
I've seen
after
the guy
with the cat and the scar and the bald head.
I never knew the guy's name. But I know who you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Nicholas, who's your submission?
Let's see. I'm going to start with one that I think we probably all have, and this is more based off of his backstory and all that stuff and the things that he did. Darth Vader. Okay, Brian's got him on a shirt.
Yep.
So the argument that I could already hear from somebody would be like, well, there was still good in him, and he was, whatever. And yes, but he did a lot of fucked up shit in the meantime.
He killed a whole goddamn planet.
He blew the planet that his daughter was from, up in front of her. That's some pretty fucked up shit. I mean, en route to getting back to the light that was in him, he did some really fucked up shit. So
and regardless of how much I got turned on, he choked a lot of people.
He sure did. He sure did. So Darth Vader is, I think in a lot of ways, I think I speak for myself and probably many others when I say this, but growing up watching those movies, you kind of get lost in the cool factor of Darth Vader.
Yes.
He's really cool, and he's got the cool voice and the outfit and the theme music and the cape and the whole 9 yards, right? But he's really fucking evil. He actually is pretty, if that was a real life thing, that would not be something that that's typically, that would truly strike fear in you, but knowing that it's a science fiction movie and you get lost in the cool factor. I think Darth Vader is a solid villain, truly evil, for, the majority of, actually all of his time as Darth Vader until the very end. So Darth Vader would be my submission.
Okay.
Yeah, arguably the best movie villain of all time. I agree with you. Just many facts, all things you just said. So the story arc, the tragedy, the whole story arc of him, terrific. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So for my
crossing off Darth Vader.
Well, I'm making a list of who we're all saying, even if it crosses over. My submission, we're going to go away from movies real quick and venture into television, and I'm going to go Walter White. From Breaking Bad.
Relatable villain.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And my list is, I think I like the villains that I like to see the fall. You saw the fall with the prequels, but that was 30 years later or whatever. You know what I mean? Of Darth Vader. With Walter White, you got to see, this wholesome, good family man fall and see how and why he fell. And then once he did fall, towards that end, he was just an evil motherfucker. He did have traces here and there of redeeming qualities, but not much by the end. He was...
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. By the time he was killed at the end, you go, yeah, he's off the earth. Thank fucking God. Yeah. But yeah, Walter White, given the nuance and Bryan Cranston's portrayal, first of all, Bryan Cranston's portrayal of anything should be on every list that we do, if applicable. But yeah, Walter White to me is one of the best TV villains in TV history. So yeah, Walter White is my submission.
That's a good one. I said relatable because I was like, actually, as I was thinking through TV shows. No, not yet. I'm not there yet.
Fair enough.
As I was thinking through TV shows for a minute, I was going, I'm going to all my all-time favorite shows. I'm thinking of Breaking Bad, but it never even crossed my radar as him as a villain. Just because I'm like,
he's the villain.
I know, but you meet him in the story. You follow him, and you meet him in the story, and you know why he does it and how he does it, and the fact that he is simply running a business, illegal as it may be and harmful as it may be. He's not a drug user. He's not, you know what I mean? He doesn't, it's weird that that never really falls in to the story arc, you know what I mean? But he just elevates and elevates and elevates, and it's almost like this addiction to
it starts
power
he gets wedged in there and he's trying to dig himself out. Hole gets deeper and deeper, and before you know it, he's in a hole that he can't get out of, and he accepts the hole.
Right. That's like Brian on this podcast. He started this shit, and now he'll never get away from it. And that's just
he looked around and realized, I'm in too deep. I might as well tell dick jokes.
Right.
Just have to accept the hole.
Accept the hole.
Always.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Actually, I changed my mind.
And it
I want
don't
that on
matter.
a T-shirt. Except the hole.
Except the hole.
Except the hole.
Hashtag.
Except the hole.
Yep.
No,
Brian, who do you got next?
You hold on real quick. Except the hole, and then where you have the dash and the author, and then Statman Brian Fisher after that. Except the hole.
Yep. The merchandise on the site.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Okay.
Till Dean interrupts you.
You just did, you dick.
I was just saying that to say about you. I wasn't gonna actually go, Brian.
I watch this movie every year, and every year I thoroughly enjoy the performance of this villain, Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber in Die Hard. I think it's just he is terrific in that movie. I watch it every holiday season. You see the meme every year. It's like it's not Christmas time until Hans Gruber falls from the tower, basically, or whatever it is.
Nakatomi Tower.
Nakatomi Tower. But he was so good in that movie, and just cold-blooded, just ruthless. One of his best roles, I think. But definitely
100%.
a great movie villain.
That is a good submission. I thought you were going. When you started, you did the whole spiel. I was like, I know exactly where he's going. That said, watch it every year. It's not Christmas time until you watch it. It's a classic. I was like, oh,
Sinbad.
Phil Hartman in Jingle All the Way is the villain, obviously.
Ooh, hold on. That's actually
trying to steal Arnold's life. What a dick! Like, yeah.
We could talk about that. Hold on. Who was a bigger villain?
Ted.
Was it Phil Hartman or?
Oh yeah,
Sinbad?
it's definitely Ted. It's Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman's only motive is to fuck Arnold's wife. Like Sinbad's trying to get a toy for his kid, just like Arnold is. He just does it in a different way.
But he held up a federal building with a bomb.
But for the love of his child, Dean, which one of us wouldn't do that?
Me.
I got two beautiful boys sleeping upstairs. You think I wouldn't blow up an entire building for either one of them? You bet your goddamn ass I would. Please don't call anybody on me.
I was going to say,
and don't play this.
that was Nick. Nick said that. Nick, not Brian, not Dean. Nick said that.
I'm a millennial. We grew up in a different time. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
The real villains of that movie were the producers.
Yeah, no shit. And the writer.
Actually, if I may, I'm not going to go on a too big of a Jingle All the Way tangent, but if you really want to get serious, I would argue that the real villains are the people that let a man come in off the street and dress up in a flying jetpack that could instantly break his neck. Like,
that's true.
To go at that those are the villains.
Nuts.
That is not
You're
cool.
right.
That's negligence.
That is
Right. Crazy nuts.
Crazy nuts. That's my nickname. Crazy
That's
nuts.
right. That's right. That's right.
Brian's is long nuts.
Long nuts. Dean's is no nuts.
What? I had a little bike accident. RPM bikes.
It was not on a... You fucking wipe that shit out of your mouth. Your RPM bike shop would never fit you with an unsafe bike. Never. Okay, Dean, it's your turn. Regretfully. Go.
What? All right. I'm going to go with Hans Landa.
Ooh,
Does
he's on
anybody
my
know what
list,
that
too.
is? Hans
Yes,
Landa.
Christoph
Waltz in Inglourious Bastards.
So good.
There is something so frightening, so disturbing, and yet so goddamn personable about him.
Yeah, he made you uneasy every time he was on camera.
He did it with a smile and with charm, and you're like, I get where if this was real life, I would let him in and have a seat, and then you realize, oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah, that whole opening scene is awesome. Yeah,
amazing. Christoph Waltz in really anything he does. I only have one other, and I'll get to it, but I only have one other person that I name as an actor rather than just a character. But Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards was top notch, amazing.
Yep.
Chillin.
He won an Academy Award, I think, for that movie.
He did.
Yeah. Best supporting actor. Go ahead.
Nikolai?
Okay, so let's see. Next, I'll go with my submission. This is one you guys will not know, unfortunately, because neither one of you are big Game of Thrones fans. But Dean, you called it off show, I believe, when we started. I have a Game of Thrones character. Joffrey is the boy king that inherited the throne. He was, to give you a brief backstory, he was
any sort of meme or whatever of like evil,
Yes,
I see
he's
that
always
kid,
there.
that guy, that kid.
And I got to tell you, if I ever met the actor that played him, I would have to walk up to him and be like, "You're such a good actor. I physically, I hated you so much while watching that show. I mean, it was so. I would go to work and just think about that little fucking prick. I can't
Hold on.
actually
Can you isolate that quote right there?
think of that little.
I go to work every day thinking about that little prick.
Honestly, for my money, my entire list, as many good villains I have, portrayals or stories, whatever have you, there is definitely not. I can't think of ever consuming any type of content, whether it be watching it, reading it, anything like that, that has ever invoked hating emotion in me the way that this character in Game of Thrones has. I mean, it is so unsettling and disturbing, and it's because he's a spoiled little shit, but he has the power to do all this stuff and get away with it, and he's just demented as fuck. He just totally enjoys every little bit of pain and despair he can cause anyone.
He might
he's
be the
just a total
to that
tyrant.
rule that we talked about earlier about.
Yes, he has watched the world burn.
Right, he's watched the world burn. Okay.
He has, you're just because, obviously in those times, a lot of people, they were inbreeding to keep the family bloodlines clean. He's a product of that. They think there's even mentions of that in the show, that perhaps because of, his bloodline being so pure that there's something that's amiss, and he's, he basically is not well mentally. And, he's just, if anyone's seen Game of Thrones, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody fucking hates him. A tremendous actor, tremendously written character, so truly evil, demented, twisted, just a shitty little kid. But yeah, he was basically the king and had the power to do what he wanted, and caused a lot of trauma and despair and really torturous ways to mess with people. So Joffrey from Game of Thrones is on my list.
Okay.
Next.
Brian.
Very good. John Doe.
Ah, yes.
John Doe.
John Doe, played by Kevin Spacey in Seven, is one of the most demented movies ever.
Kevin Spacey, also a very good real life villain.
Yes, you're right about that. He's definitely he was a very good villain in this movie. The end of Seven is one of the biggest twists and shocks of any movie, and he played that so well in that film.
Yeah.
So great movie villain, John Doe. Kevin Spacey before he went off the rails. Yep.
Yeah, of all things, all of his bullshit aside, he was obviously a critically acclaimed actor. Everybody, he was a great actor before we knew what a piece of shit he was. But
Yep.
So yeah, definitely.
All right. Next.
All right.
Dino.
I'm gonna.
Rose McGowan for being the first one to bring Harvey Weinstein to task. What a villain.
Eat shit. I'm gonna go with Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood in House of Cards.
Oh wow. Okay. Yep.
Again, he was so maniacal and cold and ruthless. As we've said before, Kevin Spacey plays an amazing bad guy in film and in real life.
That's right.
Frank Underwood is a fantastic villain.
He was the president in House of Cards. He portrayed the president.
He became the president sooner.
Became
or later,
the president. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
See, that was one.
As senator.
That show was
It's
a
a great
big deal
show.
on Netflix, and I had every intention on starting to watch it. Everybody, it was around the time when there were so many shows, and it was all you have to watch this and that, and all these shows are so great. It was kind of at the cusp of that, so I was going to watch it, and then all that shit happened with him, and I couldn't really, I was late to the party, to where I'd waited too long, and then the shit started happening with him, and I was like, well, I don't feel right watching it now. But I've never seen it, but I've heard, amazing things about that show.
It's a great show.
Yeah. I am going to go next with another villain that I kind of assume is on some more of our lists, but I'm going to call out a particular one. So when I was talking earlier about different portrayals of villains, I'm going to say the Joker. Okay.
Yeah.
There are many portrayals of the Joker. I would argue that the Joker, I mean, in and of itself, the way he's written is a fantastic villain. But I felt like he was, this is no shock, but was never quite brought to the same depth that he was by Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. So that version of the Joker is almost is one of my favorite villain portrayals, period. He's kind of a rare example to me, as how I feel like we were talking about. Some people want to watch the world burn. He was kind of an anarchist version of the Joker. He didn't care. He wasn't after power or money. He just wanted to see in his mind, what was justice for the people that were, not living up to what they say they were supposed to. But at the same time,
there was a relatable.
Yes, exactly. There was a relatable factor to that, because, you know what I mean? We do see these things happen. So he was kind of both.
I want to question the Heath Ledger. Yes, great portrayal, but is it really? I mean, is it just because in the movie he had to contrast against the good guy of Christian Bale's acting? So you're like, okay, he's doing a super great job, but this is what he has to act up against. So, I mean, so it looks a lot better. It's kind of like, if Nick pulls down his pants and Brian pulls down his pants, one of the two is going to look a lot bigger than the other.
Right. But is that
just
really a win for you? Just because, given the
you both don't pull down your pants, so it's definitely a win for me.
Yes, actually, I would argue with that. He was so good that I didn't even notice how much I didn't like Christian Bale's version of Batman in that movie.
I'll accept that.
I would argue that, yes, he was absolutely that good. Now, interestingly enough, we have, under the same umbrella of the character of the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's version, which I very much liked. Much more relatable.
Me too. I would...
Relatable in the sense that you definitely feel remorse for this character. You don't see him as this hardened villain, this pure anarchy, just someone dying to fit in, someone dying to find their place, and having a door slammed on them at every possible opportunity. Yes, mental illness. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you watch Heath Ledger's portrayal, you're looking at that going, okay, yeah, oh, look at him go, oh, that's it. Excuse me, you're watching Joaquin Phoenix and you're like, you're uncomfortable. There's that silence. Yes. You don't know how you're supposed to react in a lot of these scenes. It's
which makes it so real.
Right. It's serious. It makes you seriously awkward and uncomfortable.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Heath Ledger's performance, but as Joker, as that character and again, different elk, but I love Joaquin Phoenix portrayal.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
God damn, it's so good. So
I didn't think I'd ever feel that way about another Joker, because I was like, Heath Ledger just didn't set the bar. He took it and tossed it in the woods. You can't even find it. It's just gone. You can't even.
I thought that way about Cesar Romero, but
in the original Batman TV show, yeah, sure, absolutely, yeah.
Right.
And for what it was in the platform it was, yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, he was a comic book come to life.
Yeah, well, that's why it's a great villain, because you could have it's another reason it's such a great villain, because you have so many different portrayals of him, and every one of them in their own right is very entertaining, and you like I say, you can see his side of it. You can relate to his. You can understand his perspective. I guess what I'm trying to say. In every storyline that he's in. So it's right, but you understand it.
And it's kind of the actors or the different portrayals kind of mimics the idea of the character itself.
That's right. Think about that. It's we've mentioned this before. It's the only, unless I'm missing something, it's the only villain that has been portrayed by two Academy Award winners. They had their own version of him with Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger, and then even in the animated world, obviously Mark Hamill.
Until they do the Statman Brian Fisher story.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, or until they make the fucking musical of the Joker, then whatever. But Yeah, I think
I-
it's
we
Oscar away for that, but we'll see.
I don't think it's going to be
I
quite.
hope
But
that's a lie.
I think there's
not a
I
lie.
think there's a version of that exists that will work, and I can kind of envision. it.
Really?
Yes.
Hmm.
It's not
I'll
a
watch
musical
it.
like you're thinking of, but I can see it working. Yes. There's a version of it. Yes. We'll do that on. We'll deep dive on. I can
yeah.
explain it in better detail, but it's not. Here's not the time.
It comes out It comes out in 2024. We'll talk about it, and yeah, if we're still going by then, we'll definitely talk about it for sure. So,
Yeah. Okay. Who's up?
I don't know who just. I think Brian.
I had the Joker. Before me was Dean.
all right.
Somebody, right? So Brian, go.
I'll give you one here. So we mentioned this character, Nick, in our Arnold episode 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
But the original Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, that was one of the most frightening villains in my opinion, and also in movie history. So again, as I mentioned, as we talked about on that episode, he was just such a force then. He looked imposing, and it just kept coming after Sarah Connor. It's just, he was so hard to kill. I mean, even down
because
to
there's no humanity to him.
That's right.
Yeah, there's
That's
no
right.
remorse, zero. Just
And
pure
that's
killing machine.
He's crawling with his torso, and then just the hand at the very end, almost just relentlessly after her, made that movie very intense and frightening. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I think that character alone takes upon a different side of villain than we'd talked about. You know, there's no humanity. There's no thinking he's right. There's no wanting to watch it burn. No, it's just a command.
I'm programmed to kill Sarah Connor. That's it.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And at every cost, get it done. So that's a different villain in its own.
If I may, I know there'll probably be a time at the end for honorable mentions, but based on this, honorable mention in there for the T-1000 in Judgment Day.
Sure.
Same deal,
absolutely.
just, you know what I mean? Different,
What's the same mindset?
different. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, but definitely a great villain portrayal. Dino, who you got next?
All right. You want to get weird? Let's get weird. I'm going to go with... This is going to be a two-person, a two-thing, two-being situation. I'm going to go with the team of Jafar and Iago.
Okay.
From
Why
the
does
movie
Iago make
Aladdin. He was a part of it just because remorse and switch sides doesn't mean you didn't do a lot of shitty things for many years alongside Jafar.
Okay.
He's a dick. I mean, don't get it fucked up. He's a dick.
I feel like in parrot brain, though, whoever's giving you crackers, you're just going.
True, but I think he was a little more. He was more sentient than most parrots.
Okay.
But Jafar and Iago were
actually, that's true. The Sultan gave him many crackers, and he was not having it.
Shoved it right in his mouth.
Filthy Sultan.
Brian, what do you think about Jafar?
I was gonna say I can circle back off of your Disney one because I have a Disney one as well.
All right, let's do it.
This might be, depending on who you are and how you feel, this might actually be the creme de la creme of villains. Because I can't think of one. What we've talked about, remorse. Right? Somebody feels they're right. Some people want to watch the world burn. All these different angles. Right? Written well, acted well. This is none of the above, really. Or maybe written well. Cruella de Vil has only one motive, and that is simply fashion. That is her motive. And it is to literally skin fucking puppies for a goddamn coat.
Yeah,
literally, faux fur will not do. It has to be authentic puppy Dalmatian skins for her coat. That's the whole thing.
You don't get much.
She doesn't want
more
power.
Evil than that, really.
She doesn't want money. There's no personal gain other than to look good based on skinning puppies. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
That is demented. Cruella de Vil, submission.
Yeah.
Not many people know this, but my beard is made out of the same material.
That is fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, not that that's how it was done, but it's great pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pet you next time I see you.
That's right.
Dean, what else you got?
All right. I have. Oh, this is actually big. Daniel LaRusso from The Karate Kid.
Now,
Oh, because he's
Is
okay.
he-
Yeah, right.
is
He's
he-
supposed to be
is
the
he-
hero of the tale.
is he?
They tell
Daniel.
you. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, yeah.
that
Right.
prick.
Okay.
That little prick at 16 years old. If you go back, not only Karate Kid 1,
Sure.
but Karate Kid 2, everything he did, he deserved. He was a dick to everybody who beat him up. He deserved every ass beating that he had.
Is this you revising your childhood?
No, no. I'm just saying this. Daniel LaRusso was a dickhead, and he, under the guise of a cute little boy from the Bronx or wherever he
Oh,
was
so
from.
this wasn't you. Yeah, okay.
No, he's
Got
just
it.
Daniel LaRusso was a prick, and just because the movie centered around him, they made him look a good guy. But I mean, yes, of course you can blame that on shitty writing. But what it comes down to is he was a dick. He got what he deserved. So
Well, you know, that is one thing that makes, I think we all agree too, that one thing that makes the Karate Kid series so good is because they tell that side of the story. They tell the
Yes.
side of different perspectives, and it makes you rethink.
Yeah.
You know, like you're right. He wasn't such a great kid. You know, he had a legal kick, and he's not such a great guy even in this series necessarily. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely have some empathy for the Cobra Kai guy, right?
Karate Kid 2, when he walks up and they're doing a deal, and what they're using as payment and money, he doesn't understand it, so he breaks it and just goes, haha, what is that? This is their currency, this is their culture, and he breaks the shit and laughs. No,
Yep.
the kid needs his ass beat.
Asshole.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So Daniel LaRusso is my choice.
That's
a
solid.
good one.
That's solid. Brian, you got any more?
Yeah, I got a couple more, but the slasher, the slasher movies, the monster movies. I mean, there's you could name a lot of monsters and slashers and Jason and people like that. But to me, the best one of all time in that genre of movies, one of the greatest slasher or the greatest slasher villain, Freddy Krueger, played by the great Robert Englund in those movies. And I know we've talked about these characters before, but you can replace Jason with multiple actors. You can replace Michael Myers. You cannot replace Freddy Krueger because of Robert Englund and his portrayal of that character. So
Right.
just dark, demented, funny, sick, just great slasher villain.
Also a child molester.
Sure, that's right. Yeah, just a very evil guy. Pure evil.
Yeah, he was a bad guy. And if you look at the first movie, he wasn't wisecracking. They started that in the second movie. The first one, he was pure evil and he was the nightmare.
Yep.
And then
First
the second one, that's where they started the jokes and the made him almost affable by the fourth film.
You're right. It got really goofy. That first movie, though, still holds up today. Terrifying and
sure.
Yeah, go back and watch it now if you haven't seen it in a while.
I've got some more here. So next one, I'll go. I've got a relatable one here. I was thinking of this one when you were mentioning Walter White there, Dean. Very relatable. A villain in a movie. Honestly, one of the reasons I love this movie so much was even the main bad guy was very relatable and very likable in many ways. Killmonger, Eric Killmonger from Black Panther.
Yep, good one.
Was technically the villain in Black Panther, but and even the hero in Black Panther and T'Challa finds, once he discovers the backstory, kind of tries to save him, is upset with his own family that they didn't go back for him, they didn't save him, He was left in a shitty situation. You can understand how he became an extremist. So this is a perfect example of a villain that is a hero in his own story. I mean, he is trying to do what's right by his people, as in the people, in the United States and the current state of the world, and
If you would
helping
look at
people that are underprivileged and are undermined, and he wants to go and use the powers of Wakanda to help people all over the world that look like him that are being treated unfairly.
You could easily take the film crew that followed the Black Panther, put it on him, and he's the good guy in the story, and Black Panther is
absolutely.
the bad guy.
Sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. So and Michael B. Jordan, very handsome fella.
Sure.
It's kind of
Sure.
hard to really hate a face like that or a body like that.
That's true.
All right. Well, it's getting a little late here, guys.
I've got more.
Yeah, I do
I know,
too.
we all have more.
Okay,
You want
can,
to-
can I
you
get
just-
can I give one because I teased it? I should pay it off. The
Sure.
the guy that I'd said, the actor, Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay, Dean, we don't have time for you to make people up. Like we've got to.
Gus from Breaking Bad, and he was also
okay.
the Grand Moff on the Mandalorian.
Yeah, great actor.
That guy's such a great bad guy that they have him do bad guy stints in video games now.
Yeah, right. Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that guy's just. I mean, he's so good in everything, guys. And I just. I didn't read the article, but I scrolled past a headline saying, could he, Giancarlo Esposito, be the new Dr. X?
Professor X.
Oh, that'd
Which
be all right.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy's an actor, and he's mainly bad guys. Is just fantastic. So
yeah. For sure. I'll make mine quick. I would be remiss if I did not mention one of my favorite villains of all time. Definitely an example of a villain in a certain sense, but definitely not a villain in his own mind. Obviously, I'm a fan of Venom. We've discussed him before.
Sure.
I'm a big Venom fan. Eddie Brock, in and of himself, is not a villain, but the symbiote makes him a villain, and I just like the whole vibe of it. I like the idea of this alien entity coming into him and turning him into this thing that, is just ravenous, he can't control, trying to balance it, all that stuff. So definitely my favorite comic book villain, one of my favorite comic book characters, period, and love the portrayal of him on the big screen. I would go further into things that I've written down. I just wrote a couple real-life villains in music, like Michael Jackson and Marilyn Manson, but I would be afraid that Dean would try to defend them, so I'll leave that for another time. Brian, go ahead.
I'll just run off some from the Marvel universe that are, we mentioned already Thanos, James Brolin. Again, great in that role, great villain. You definitely see his side of the story, as Dean mentioned earlier, his perspective on things. Green Goblin, William Dafoe, great in that role. Great character. The Kingpin, even with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Kingpin's a great villain. He played him perfectly, I felt, and that was
also a little relatable in the Spider-Verse for sure.
Sure.
And Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Just in those earlier movies, Loki was the villain.
Yes.
He was so good, so manipulative and everything. So
there's not many that toe the line quite as good as that one, where you're like, I know I'm not supposed to like him, but you can't help it. Like he's just so likable, so charismatic. Yep.
Yeah, there's plenty more, but that's a lot.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. I've been keeping a list here, and I think that I have our. If this is your first time listening and you've gotten this far, good on you, and we thank you. But we do our Mount Rushmore as 5, not 4, because hey, we're idiots.
Idiot Mount Rushmore. Yep.
Convince me that we're not. I bet you can't.
That's right. So, our Mount Rushmore of villains, pop culture villains. we have Darth Vader,
Yep.
Thanos, Brian, Nick, and Dean is the Mount Rushmore
Pretty good.
of villains.
Yes, that's right.
Pretty
The
solid.
three of us made your list because we've wasted your time.
That's right. That's right.
No, that's
Pretty
good. That's pretty good. I mean, I know it's getting late here. Maybe we'll come back and the other three for real. But
Yeah.
good stuff, though. Yeah, no, I agree. It's a fine Mount Rushmore of villains.
It is a
Just
fine.
It's
I
the
mean,
first time
it's
I've
our
ever
first
made a
time.
Mount Rushmore of ours. So yeah, I mean, I'm
Sure.
pretty proud. I'm pretty proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were gonna do douchebags. I thought that's when we would all make it, but we did this
Right.
first, so I'm happy
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not going to make it for best taste tester of Brian's lowball highballs, then I would say Villains is the way to get on there.
Well,
I'm
if
happy
you'd
to make it here.
if you'd answer a goddamn text, maybe you'd be over there drinking his highball.
All right, good stuff here, guys. Great topic. Again, we could talk about this all night, but very good
And we
suggestion.
will. Anyway,
That's
back
right.
to my list.
Yes, yeah. So, I would be a villain here, guys. By the way, I would be a true villain before we wrap up this episode if I did not mention our other sponsors, which I have not yet done. So that's right.
Good
So,
slide.
Bellmark, Amazon store, BELLEMARK. Go check them out on Amazon. They specialize in quality wood products, floating nightstands is their specialty. Also, countertop compost bins and a floating liquor cabinet. Go check
Floating
them out.
compost bins are good for grinding up
Sure.
dead bodies and things like that. If you're a real
that's
villain. So there you go.
That's right. That's right. So just order directly through Amazon on their store. Everything's delivered through the Amazon service, conveniently, safely, and affordably. And also, Golden Heart Tattoos. So we've all got work done.
Our newest sponsor.
All had work done by Scott Oswald. The last tattoo here, my Twilight Zone themed tattoo. Flower here for my. It's hard to see
that's
here, but
Scott
for my
and,
daughter.
Greg Paramick over here as well.
Come on, show Greg's work.
Yep. Everywhere.
Show us other stuff, Nick. Come on.
Greg, the boys said I have to get a dick tattoo now.
You can find Golden Heart Tattoo on Facebook. Go check them out there, or you may call at 234-706-2982 and email goldenhearttattoos.com. Go check them out. They fill up quickly. Make an appointment today if you're looking for some new ink or perhaps your first ink.
Hey.
Scott does a great job. Super clean studio. I mean, he was literally, I'm not even kidding around, he was literally wrapping everything in plastic, and it's just completely safe and painless tattoo. So
It was like
go
he was
check out
about to
Scott.
do surgery.
That's right.
And he
Really,
has a sweet
really is.
Macho Man Slim Jim holder as well.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Check that out.
That's right. Golden Heart Tattoo over in the Norton, Ohio area. So on that note, Nick, it's time for another to wrap up here.
It is.
Dean, I don't know about you, but you have a suggestion for Nick? Go ahead.
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know how, I'm going to leave this up to you how you do it, but do this outro evil. Mm-hmm. Just be sinister. If you were to be a bad guy in a movie or TV show, be that guy.
Here it comes. Okay, so here's what you're going to do, okay?
Jesus.
First of all, you're going to go over to a link tree, okay? It's www.convincingidiots, okay? .wordpress.com. Think you can handle that? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. So anyway, then after that, you're going to go over to a link tree. It's a big old tree in the middle of a forest, okay? And hanging off of every branch, there's going to be something called a link that's a web. No, that's not a thing. It's on the web. It's on the website also. Okay. Okay. Well, apparently all I wanted was a frickin' tree, okay, that had links hanging off of them. But apparently we can't do that. Okay, because apparently it's too hard to get a tree with links hanging from it, okay? So you're going to go also to the World Wide Web into a thing called www.google.com. And from there you're going to type in Convincing Idiots WordPress. No, that's not right. We don't do that either. That's what... For frickin' sake! Okay, so it's Convincing Idiots Linktree. Type that into Google, okay? Yeah? Is that good? We do that? Okay, so go there, and you're gonna find links to all of something about media, okay? And being social. So go over there and tell them that Convincing Idiots sent you, okay? So for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I'm a millennial. My name is Nick, and I've seen a lot of Austin Powers movies.
Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian, Gen X.
Have we convinced you that we are, in fact, the most dastardly villains of them all?
Zennial Dean, Gen X Brian, Millennial Nick. If you like what you saw, like and subscribe.
Ham gravy.